my God, today's a big day. First of all, yesterday there's 100,000 of you, which is a lot, which is so much. And I have so much to talk about with that. And I actually thought today we could talk about failure. Isn't that funny? But, I think I was so excited. And for a long time I was posting on YouTube and honestly, no one was watching. And I was like, okay. And one of my friends was like, keep going, just keep going. Like, what's the harm in continuing to feel like you're failing? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. I'm failing and it's embarrassing. And we think trying is so embarrassing when really, trying is so cool. Trying is so cool. Somebody going for it is so cool. I give myself permission to fail, every week. Every week, I'll have, a moment where I'm like, wait, does nobody care? And I'll be like, okay, let's make bad videos. Let's show up in a certain way. Let's try. I also take a lot of breaks. I don't know if I'm sure you can. I haven't done this in a little bit because I was just giving myself time. I used to always have a joke that was like, my boss is crazy. She is on my neck at all times. And then people were like, you work for yourself. I'm like, yeah, me, I'm on my neck. Sometimes when I'm having a hard day, if someone worked for me and they're like, hey, I'm having a hard day, can I not record? I'd be like, girl, get a latte on me and don't you dare come back. But when it's me, I'm like, oh, really? Okay, well, I don't love that. Can't you just try? I put all this pressure on myself and then essentially have little battles with myself. I'm super focused right now on my relationship with myself because, hot take, I think that summer's a really hard time for me. How about just for me, okay? Because for me, fall is so fun. My birthday's in September, so it's I'm a Virgo. So September's so fun. Then we're getting into Halloween. Then it's the holidays. Fun. Then January, February is really hard and it's cold. But because it's hard and it's cold, if you're having a hard time during those months, I'm like, yeah, well, it's January, February, girl. What are you going to do? March, April, it starts to get nicer. People are excited to see each other again. And then summer hits. And for me, and I forget this every year. Every year I say this summer. But summer is really hard for me. I have to put a lot of effort into it to feel good, I guess. There's so many fun things to do. And I think that's overwhelming. And then I think when I have a hard day, I used to say this in college. I'm like, when you're having a hard day in the summer and you're wallowing in your room and you hear someone throwing a Frisbee, you're just kind of that made it worse. That made it harder. Because it's everyone should be having fun in summer. And I think in my personal life, I actually saw this really cool meme yesterday that was throughout life, we constantly are going through stages of losing ourselves and finding ourselves. And I think that is very true for me. I am so aware when something is off in my body that my only job when something is off is to figure out how to get back and how to get back on and to figure out what caused it. Oh my God, I didn't even tell you guys. Oh, we're gabbing today. I'm sorry. I'm a million miles a minute. Okay, but do you remember a few weeks ago, I came on, I forget where I said it. It might have been on my Instagram, on my stories, but I was having a lot of hip pain. I was having a lot of hip pain. A hip pain I had never felt before. And I'm so lucky that I have this, it's like a chiropractic healer that I work with. And it's not like he cracks me. He's sort of like, we talk through my body. And most of the time, if you can believe it, which I can, it's always tied to emotion. So, which I did not, I thought I really didn't know. And I also think, and this is another part that I think is really true for me, is because I'm a professional at sort of gaslighting my emotions, or logistically, like I had something happen that was really disappointing. And me, present now, 37-year-old Jessie, could intellectualize it. Like I was like, yep, this happened. It was super disappointing. I'm sad about it, but like, I understand how it happened. I understand the people that it happened with. I understand the situation. Like I have empathy for myself. I have empathy for them. I know everyone tried their best. And that doesn't mean that there isn't a part of me that's super disappointed. And especially like younger versions of myself. I'll tell you something else about me. I do believe in like the versions of you kind of living inside of you. And so sometimes like me at 37, like I'm like, I get it. But there's a version of me that is like rattled. So anyhow, I went to go get my hip looked at, and I've never had this happen. And I've watched videos of people releasing their hip and like sobbing, and I've been like, wow, that seems amazing. Girl, I went in and he like was moving stuff around. And also I was so charged. Like I was so upset because I was in such pain and discomfort. And we started moving stuff, and I sobbed. I was like sobbing. I was uncontrollably crying, and I was like, what? I mean, I also love my doctor so much and trust him so much that I was like, I gotta really like not block myself and keep it in. Because sometimes, you know, for me, especially when I cry, I'll be like, don't. And then it's like I'm trying to not make other people uncomfortable because I know they get uncomfortable. But in a doctor's office, that's all about that. I was like, you know, I was really letting it flow. Okay. And it felt great. Oh my God, it felt great. I was like, heat protectant. Sorry. Got to do the heat protectant. I've been wearing it curly actually a lot, but today I'm going to be shooting some videos, and when I wear my hair curly and like you keep changing, it just gets worse and worse. And then after a little bit, I'm like, it's not styled anymore. So where was I? Okay. So I'm sobbing in this doctor's office, and I'm having these moments with myself because I had really clear kind of feelings of like what each emotion was, and from like maybe what version of myself it was from. And I also think I realized that due to the fact that I kept gaslighting myself emotionally, my body will do this thing where it's like, you know what she can't ignore? Physical pain. Because I think a lot of times, you know, in our society with mental health and stuff, like when someone hurts their leg, everyone's like, help, rally around. And when someone's like, I'm having a hard day, it's like not seen as, or if they're having some sort of mental health diagnosis or situation, like a lot of times people are like, I can't see it, you know, and I don't get it. But physical pain is seen so differently, even from myself, you know, because like from myself, like maybe I probably should have scheduled a therapy appointment or like talked to someone about it, but I didn't do any of that. I didn't do anything until my hip really hurt. And I was like, wow, I got to see somebody about this. I can't be having hip pain. So honestly, it was so funny too, because I cried so much. And then afterwards I was like, I have to take the subway. And I had not finished crying. There's such a freedom in New York sometimes. And maybe it's not New York. It's sort of when you just stop caring. Like I was like, I'm going to probably make people uncomfortable. And they're going to be like, maybe that girl just got fired. Like, who's to say? I also sobbed in Times Square when I did get fired from my job when I was like in my early 20s. So That's the thing about New York. You got to cry places to really make it home. But so I was sobbing on the subway, and I told my doctor, even when I was leaving, I was like, I have to travel home? I feel so raw and so exposed. But it was really good. Like, it was a great reminder for myself, which is like, yeah, girl, you can intellectualize everything all you want until you feel through it. It just sits. And that's when I think my body is literally so powerful, because I'm like, look at how quickly, like, we got that out of our body. You know, you got to understand there's a younger version of me who carried things around for years. I was in such denial. Oh, when I first moved to New York, and I remember I had from 8 a.m. to 10 or 11 p.m. I was booked. I was running places. I was doing things. And one of the reasons was I was like, I don't want to be alone with myself. Like, I can't be with my own thoughts. Like, I'm scared of that. So if I'm always working and always, doing stuff and having activities and with other people, like, I'll never have to be alone and by myself and with my own thoughts. And that's so different now, because, like, when you get to a place where you're like, you just have to realize, like, you are your own longest relationship. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be your greatest love story, really. And that takes time, and I know that. But when you decide that, and then when your safe place becomes like with yourself, that's a beautiful thing. And so I can feel when that is off and on. So that's what happened to me last week, or a few weeks ago. Then I went to Knoxville to see my friend in Tennessee, who is like my soul sister friend. We traveled 40 days around Europe together. Okay. And actually, we weren't even that close before the trip. We just worked together over the summer at a camp. Oops, did I do heat protectant? Sorry, don't pay attention. Nobody comment about that, okay? Please. But we worked together at camp, and then because we were starting camp at the same time and I was studying abroad in London, I was like, who wants to travel with me for 40 days? And she said yes. And anyhow, we became absolutely fast and furious friends, and what I would consider like a soul friend. Like, oh, here we go. But she's just always seen me sort of as like my best self, even when I really didn't like myself. And I remember being like, I wish I could see myself the way Sarah does. Like, she really sees something great in me, and I don't know what. So it's so wonderful to have friends like that, because I've always been like, when I lose myself, I know Sarah kind of will bring me back just to, the simplest kind of version of myself. So that's fun. The trip was just so great. I love her children. Oh, I love her children so much. They're so great. And I love playing with them. And Sarah and I, like, because we worked at a camp with kids, I actually think I need to, like, work with kids more. I love kids. I really do love kids. I was like, maybe I'll start a camp, or like just something. I really do love kids, and I think they're so centering in so many ways. And I also think they're so fun, and they're so silly, and you really get like outside of yourself when you're with kids for certain doses. I know as a parent that it's got to be, it's obviously harder. It's so much easier to come in as like a fun aunt or like a camp counselor, which is how I've always worked with children. But anyhow, it was just so great to be with them. Like, I just love watching kids play. And I got to do that. And then I got to come home, and I was like, oh my God. Like, and I used to go on trips and kind of get really scared about going home. And it's so nice to not feel that anymore and to just be so excited to get back to my life and my, everything I have going on and the community I've built. And like, that's just completely a new thing as well, which I love. I did come back and like immediately kind of have a trauma, which is just like, I came back and there were flying ants in my apartment. And you know what? Fun fact about me, my house burnt down when I was 13 and we had to live in this rental house from hell. And in that rental house, there were a lot of bugs. So when I see a bug in my home, I kind of turn 13 again. And I'm like, I can't believe this is forever. And I can't live with bugs. I'd rather die. And it's very dramatic. And then I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. And it's flying ants. And at first I thought it was fleas. And that sent me. That really sent me. Because... And I don't even know the bug I'm thinking of, but the bug that like lives in clothes. I was like, if it's the bug that lives in clothes, like I'm dead. I'm like, I have clothes everywhere. Anyhow, it wasn't. It was flying ants coming in from the window because of the rain. And we fixed it, and that's great. So that's where I've been. That's what I've been up to. Today I get to have a fun day of like filming and hanging out with my friend and going shopping. And I'm like, I can't believe this is my life. Like, this is so fun. And I think I've made a pact to myself that I'm going to try to see more Broadway shows. Like, I love Broadway shows. So I'm going to try to see more shows. And I think something like that is such a nice thing to look forward to. And I'm trying to figure out maybe even like a group or something I can join that kind of like makes summer feel good. And like things I have to look forward to. Because I think... because of travel, it's like you don't sign up for things and then you're like, well, what am I doing? Anyhow, I'm so glad you guys are here. Actually, the next time I do this, want to do like a Q&A. I was like, maybe you guys could ask me any questions that you have and then I can answer them. I was like, that's kind of fun. 100,000? Like, let's get to know each other deeply. Not that I don't absolutely pour my soul out to you. But you know what I mean? Okay, I love you guys. Have the best day ever. Bye.